Join me in the blanket fort as we venture into the realm of the unknown. This is Painted Haint.
Hello and welcome to the Blanket Fort. I'm your host, Adri Hayes, and you are listening to one of the many episodes I will have for the Halloween special. So today I am going to talk about El Hombre del Saco, and this is basically an extension of my last episode on why humans are afraid of the dark. So this legend is found in Latin America and Spain, and it's basically the depiction of this boogeyman depends on the country of origin. So in Spain, he's depicted as an old man who's skinny and carries a large bag, and he uses his bag to kidnap children who have been bad, so like bad kids. In Brazil and Portugal, he's depicted as tall and scary looking, and I'm thinking of the old man from the film Phantasm. If you've ever seen that movie, that tall man that he launches over that boy's bed, like that. And like in Spain, he collects mean or bad children for his evil purposes. And lastly, in Chile and Argentina, he is called El Viejo del Saco, which translates to the old man with the sack. And in this version, he walks through neighborhoods, specifically at dinner time, looking for wayward children. So it's like a better be home for the streetlights come on type deal. So the children that he takes in this case are said to be disappointments, whatever that means, or children that are not home by dinner. But as we know from the last episode, this is not merely a boogeyman. This is based off of an event, an actual crime that happened. So we're gonna go back in time to 1910, and the place is Gador, Andalusia, Spain. So at the turn of the century, Spain is going through quite a bit of political instability, and most importantly to us, an ongoing TB epidemic. So to understand why this crime was committed, not to endorse this crime and say, oh good, okay, but we just to understand why this was done. We're gonna look at what tuberculosis, aka consumption, is. So according to the Mayo Clinic, tuberculosis is a serious illness that mainly affects the lungs, and it's caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So the disease spreads by way of coughing, sneezing, or singing, and it spreads easily in crowded areas. So you're thinking cities, homes, places like that. So there are 3 stages of TB. Primary infection, in which the immune system's cells find and capture the germs, but some survive and multiply. Then you have also at the primary stage, there are no symptoms, so nothing to show that you're sick. Then you have the latent, in which the immune cells build a wall around the lungs to protect it from tuberculosis. Lastly, you have the active TB disease stage. So at this point, the immune system can't control the TB infection anymore, and it spreads throughout the lungs or other parts of the body. And basically at this time in the world, it was a death sentence. So you would be sent to a sanitarium basically to waste away. I mean, some people made it, but you also had some people that passed away from it. But I'm sure you all know, if you've ever seen Moulin Rouge, what the hallmark symptom of TB is. So let's take it back again. Y'all remember Moulin Rouge starring Nicole Kidman? When she started coughing, she would cough up blood. So that was like the hallmark symptom of TB, and that's when you knew you were probably far gone. So one of those desperate souls was a man by the name of Francisco Ortega, aka El Moreno, or the Moor. He had been recently diagnosed with TB and he needed a cure. So he would go to see a healer named Agustina Rodriguez, who would in turn send him to Francisco Leona. So by the way, there are 2 Franciscos, so we're just gonna call Francisco Ortega the Moor, and we'll call Francisco Leona. So Francisco Leona, was a healer and a barber in town, and he would tell Francisco Ortega he could cure the other for 3,000 reals, or 13,000 in American USD, so $13,000. So Leona then went to Agustina's son, Julio El Tonto Hernandez. By the way, El Tonto means the fool, so you can imagine what people thought of his brain capacity. But together, Julio and Agustina would come up with the cure, which which was a child. So at this time, it was believed that drinking the blood of a child and using their body fat to spread over the sufferer's body cured tuberculosis. But we all know that's BS. So Leona and Augustina would find a child, a neighborhood 7-year-old boy by the name of Bernardo, and they lured the boy to them, then chloroformed him. That's not all they did though, so trigger warning. It gets nasty. So following the drugging, Francisco Leona put the little boy in a sack. Bernardo was later taken out of the sack and stabbed by the healer and drained of his blood for the purpose of Francisco Ortega El Moreno to drink the blood. But Bernardo was still alive after all of this. So what did they do? He's still alive. He's probably thinking, oh, this is terrifying. They just want to drain my blood. But no, remember, they got to get the fat off the little boy. So he will be taken to a place called Las Posillas, where he was murdered by a blow to the head. And then to complete this ritual cure, air quotes all over the place, they would remove the body fat from the boy. They then hid the body, but of course, the crime came to light when somebody didn't get their money. And so these people were basically put on trial and found guilty of this murder. So this is the primary origin of El Hombre del Saco. But there is a earlier origin story for this boogeyman. And this comes from the 15th and 16th century. So there were these men who were tasked with taking unwanted babies and taking them to orphanages, quote, quote, air quotes, right? So they're said to be taking them to orphanages. They would put them in a basket or a sack and they would carry them off. But probably due to the manner they were transported, among other things, probably the elements as well, these babies would pass away en route to the orphanage. And so that's the earlier version of El Hombre del Saco. So what I'm thinking is maybe it's a blend of the two. So the true crime element plus this historical element of them carrying off babies. Either way, this boogeyman is now prevalent in South America and other Spanish-speaking countries, and it was just something I was curious about because I had really never heard of this legend. But yeah, that's a little short on El Hombre del Saco. So really, in addition to the dark and the boogeyman, and why humans are afraid of the dark. So I would encourage you to check out my YouTube as well as my Instagram, paint_and_haint21. I've actually posted a picture on there of me dressed up as one of the Orion from Star Trek. But yeah, so that picture's up there, and I didn't use I couldn't use all of the paint because I kind of ran out of paint. So that's why it's just my face. But I'm going to be posting some more looks on there for y'all to check out. And as always, you can follow me here on Podbean or wherever you're listening. And there'll be more to come. And I promise I'll be on time with my posting. It's just I've had a busy week. So I will see you all on the next Painted Haint pod and or Painted Haint YouTube channel. Thanks for subscribing, thanks for listening, thanks for liking, thanks for commenting, and if you haven't, please like, comment, and subscribe. Also share. So I'll see you all later. Bye.